LA family, what it do, baby boo? Look, as always, anything I say in this episode, prior episodes, and future episodes is just my personal opinion. You should not take it as fact. You should not take it as law. Always do your own homework and come up with your own conclusions. Right about now, do me a favor, hit me off with a quick like. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe and quickly drop down a comment for your boy to keep that YouTube algorithm rolling. All right, so look, fam, this is going to be a quick video, and this is something that I do. I started to say this is something that I'm guilty of, but that's really the topic of this video. Am I guilty? I need you guys to talk to me down in the comments. For all my ride or dies who have been watching me from day one or going back and watched a lot of my content, you guys know that in addition to good quality, reliable firearms, whether it's handgun, shotgun, rifles, whatever the case may be, in addition to that, while that is is the most important thing to me, you guys know I also like to customize my weapons. Sometimes that customization affects the overall look of the firearm. It gives it a more aesthetically pleasing look. But oftentimes, I really don't believe in making changes unless they are going to also improve performance. So I got hit off, and this is, look, if I haven't said it, enough, let me tell you now that I love all you guys. I appreciate, there's a lot of content out there that you guys could be watching. So if you take 5, 10, 15 minutes to watch me, I find it to be an honor and a privilege. And when I started this channel, I had no idea if anybody was going to even watch. Most of the feedback that I get, I would say 90% of it is positive. Every once in a while I'll get a few thumbs down. I don't take it personally. I'm not thin-skinned. Every once in a while I'll get a negative comment. Again, I don't take it personally. I'm not thin-skinned. But I got a couple of comments on different videos that were made, and not by the same person, but videos that were made, months apart from each other. And it touched on this topic. One was a little bit nasty, and again, whatever, I don't care. And the nasty one, YouTube asked me if I wanted to disallow it. I approved it because whether positive or negative, I want the feedback. I want this to be a place where people can come and say whatever the hell they want to say, as long as it's not being disrespectful or profane or something like that, where people can say what they want to say and feel like it's okay. I'm good with that. Good with that. And even if it's directed at me, I'm good with that too. But there was an underlying thing. One was nasty and one was just kind of, it wasn't nasty, just more matter of fact. And I have a thing, again, where I like to improve my weapons. And a lot of times I will refer to, and look, too, there's a thin line in my other content makers. I've got some subs that do content, like 32 Icon, subscribes to my channel. Talent Size subscribes to my channel. A few other content makers subscribe to my channel, so they can appreciate what I'm about to say. There's a thin line when you're a content creator. Number one, you want to have a topic or a subject that is interesting to the people in general. And then you have to present it in such a way that is authentic, but also entertaining and informative. And to try to do all three of those things in a 5 to 15, 20-minute video is challenging, y'all. It ain't easy at all. So I admire the people who do it really, really well. So a lot of times I try to let my personality come through. And so sometimes you may hear me say a weapon looks sexy. Like, like your boys HK VP9 with the HK parts compensator on it, with the extended mag well and all of that, with the drop dead gorgeous HK trigger on it. You know, sexy. All right. Now, I did that for a reason, because a lot of times I will talk about how physically appealing I feel a weapon is, right? And I think if you're somebody who really hasn't watched a lot of my videos, if you and heard me preach about gun safety and not sacrificing reliability for looks, if you haven't heard a lot of my content where I kind of preach that, all you hear is the one day when I happen to be talking about how sexy this is, then you may think that, oh, this dude is a clown. He probably reckless. You know, he probably, you know, is sacrificing his reliability and the value of the gun just so he can be bouted, just so his gun look a certain way, so he can profile on Instagram or something. So look, I do believe there are people out there who do that, right? I don't believe that that is me. And like I said, I'm not a sensitive dude, so you can say whatever you want to say, and I'll respectfully disagree with you. But I think it brings up a larger topic, right? Are Gucci guns, are sexy, or Gucci Glocks, or sexy guns, or however you want to phrase it, are they a problem in the gun community? Are people not taking this seriously enough? And is there room for somebody like me to express how fun firearms can be and still acknowledge how dangerous they potentially can be, right? And so here's what I would say, and this is my PSA for this particular video. It is that simply people buy firearms for different reasons. When we inside the gun community are speaking to anti-gunners, one of the things that they always say is, oh, you don't need this for home protection. Oh, you don't need this for this. Okay, stop acting like home protection is the only reason to buy a firearm, right? There are different reasons to buy. That's what we preach to people, right? You know, there is home protection. There is self-defense. There's concealed carry. There's home defense. There is competition. There is hunting. And there is collection, right? And those are just the ones I'm thinking of off the top of my head, right? And so, why did you buy a gun? And so, one of the comments that was sent to me was that people are too worried about whether or not a gun is being sexy instead of being more worried about how the gun is going to run. Well, I think that is probably out there somewhere. I don't think I'm guilty of that, but I think there are people out there who roll like that. But my response to that person would be, why did the person buy the gun? Did they buy it for, I think that the problem with that person's philosophy is they're being a little too myopic, right? So the guy who goes out and buys the antique firearm from, you know, World War I or the American Revolution that doesn't run, is he or she more worried about, you know, the artifact than they are about how the gun runs? No, you wouldn't criticize them for that, right? They bought that for a specific reason. They appreciated it and the history behind it, and look at it as more as a work of art, if you will, than a firearm that's going to be used to protect themselves. Well, some people look at modern guns the same way. Somebody may have a stock Glock 17 that they use for home protection, but they want a Gucci Glock. They want a fancy Glock. Not that it's going to be, their primary source of protecting themselves, but they look at it as art and they want to collect it, right? And maybe it does deteriorate from the overall functionality of the gun. I don't believe in doing that, but you know what I also don't believe in doing? I don't believe in judging other people. That's not what I'm here for. That's not how I get down. I'm not here to think I'm better than anybody or that my philosophy is the only way something should be done. I think that's the problem with our society as a whole. Everybody thinks they know what the best way is, instead of being accepting and empathetic of the way that other people look at things. And so while I don't do that, if I make an improvement to a firearm, in addition to looking aesthetically pleasing, it also needs to improve the operation of the firearm, right? And so, but I know people who will Cerakote a gun, some crazy whatever, and they just want it. They just want it. Now, if that's their soul, or they'll put some kind of funky slide on something, or whatever, because they just want it. And so I'm not looking down. If that's you, do you, boo-boo. Do you, boo-boo. Right? Handle that. Do whatever you want to do. All I would say is if that weapon is also going to be your primary source of defending yourself and your family, you may want to think twice about compromising the reliability, safety of the overall weapon. But if you buying that and you ain't never gonna have no bullets in it, and it's just gonna be a display or sitting around, or a safe queen that you should bring out every blue moon to show your friends you're cool, okay, there's nothing wrong with that. And we shouldn't be so judgmental. And so that's what this thing is all about. I think there is an underbelly out there in the community of people who look at people who have Gucci Glocks, or who colorize their weapons. I think they're like these purists. That's what I would call them. These gun purists who are very haughty, who think that guns should only be used in certain circumstances. To you, I say, chill out. Chill out. Relax. I do think we need to preach that if you're using your weapon for home protection or for self-defense, that you have to be very careful that when you make changes to your weapon, you aren't compromising reliability. I think that needs to be said, but I don't think we should assume just because somebody has made improvements to their weapons that make it look more aesthetically pleasing, that they also didn't improve the operation of the gun. That's one. And two, we shouldn't assume what the purpose of that weapon is for them. So that's your boy's PSA today, y'all. I just think folks need to chill out. Yes, guns can be dangerous. We should operate them responsible. If you go back and look at my content, I've got several videos on gun safety and things people should know about firearms, and I would encourage you to check those out. I made them for people who may not be as educated or informed about guns, that they would have a blueprint that they can kind of follow to avoid some of these pitfalls that people are talking about. But I also don't think that we should be so judgmental in the gun community, because everybody isn't chill like me. I'm very confident in who I am, what I know, what I don't know. You guys have heard me say many, many times that I'm relatively new to gun. I'm a work in progress, all of that. So I have no problem. I'm not some poser like that. I got no problem with, people having criticism. You can criticize me all day. I just think about the people who may not be as comfortable in their own skin as I am, and how they may internalize things. And I want us to have, I think it all comes down to us being able to dialogue with one another. And if we're being mean, if we're being judgmental, if we're being then it's hard to do that. All right? So I'm looking for a kinder, gentler 2A community, y'all. And I hope you guys are down with that. Anyway, y'all, until next time, take care as always, and peace.